Hello and welcome back to the Football Terrace. Smash the like and the share button. An important win for Manchester United tonight against Burnley in the EFL Cup. A good performance as well, but important to stay in this competition. United need to break this duck, 5-year duck now of not winning a trophy. They need to get rid of it. And a lot of players tonight had to blow the cobwebs away. They had to blow the World Cup cobwebs away, whether it was disappointment of being knocked out maybe sooner than they expected to be, or not playing a game for 5 to 6 weeks. It was an important game. Man United were good. Two brilliant goals, a wonderful pass from Bruno Fernandes, excellently kept in and played across the 6-yard box by AWB, and Christian Eriksen scoring two goals in quick succession now in terms of games played. But of course, there was a big gap between them getting his second for Man United, and then Marcus Rashford with a sensational individual goal. A sensational individual goal, giving him his ninth goal of the season. That's 9 goals in 20 games, plus the 3 assists now, putting him on that 12 mark for goal contributions. And he's really starting to find his feet again. And it was a sensational strike, a brilliant dribble from inside his own half, inside, outside, put his head down, knew where the bottom corner was, laced it, ended the game, and put Manchester United through to the next round, which is a very important part of tonight. Qualifying. United need to win a trophy. You've got to stay in it. Arsenal, the best team in England so far this season, are out. One of Man City or Liverpool tomorrow night goes out. There's a genuine opportunity for Man United in this competition. And as I said when we got through the previous round, depending on the draw, you just didn't want to get City or Liverpool, to be honest. This game was also very, very important for Man United rebounding and starting the season. Everyone's having pre-season friendlies or post-season friendlies or mid-season friendlies. I don't know what mid-season friendly would be the right word, wouldn't it? And United have also had some. But having an actual competitive game to kind of blow those cobwebs out, get your feel again is going to be key. And it was needed tonight because there were some scrappy moments from Bruno, some very scrappy moments from Scott McTominay that looked a little rusty. And a few of them looked a little bit like, not worse for wear, but you could tell there'd been a little bit of time since they'd played together. Anthony's rhythm was very much off. He didn't play in a month leading up to the end of the season. Into the mid-season break. Didn't play too much for Brazil in Qatar and really needed sort of that time out on that football pitch tonight. But it was also good to see the sharpness of certain individuals. Casemiro, barring a very loose pass at the end, an excellent performance from him at centre-back. I thought an excellent display from Christian Eriksen in the middle, dictated well, scored his goal, excellent passing. Solid from Anthony Martial through the middle, probably should have scored. But of course, the star man, Marcus Rashford, who for me should have played more minutes for England. I think England would have gone on further in the tournament should he have played more. But excellent to see the goal from him. Excellent for me to see his continuation. And interestingly, he's had a bit of game time. It's most of the World Cup players that were getting a fair amount of game time in Qatar were the ones that looked sharpest today. Young Garnacho again looked slightly off the pace, and that's what's going to be so intriguing about the restart of the Premier League. Whose methods are going to yield the best results? United stayed an extra week at training where everyone else went on holiday. Some clubs have had 3 or 4 or 5 mid-season friendlies. Others have had 2 or 3. Which method is going to work in the short, medium to long term? It's going to be very intriguing to find out. But of course, Man United go through, I don't want to say comprehensively beat, but comfortably beat Burnley, who I will say this about them, play good football. If they played this kind of football in the Premier League, I don't think KJ would have hated them. Legitimately, it was good football. They pressed well. They moved the ball well. And you can see what I really liked about the identity that Vincent Kompany is creating is that they played the same style in this game as they do in the Championship. And whenever you see a team do that, there's great hope for them. Nottingham Forest are a prime example. I cut my hair, says Sup Terry. Just came to say hi to you and the chat. Have a date with Colleen. A Colleen lookalike tomorrow. Well excited. Marcus, man of the match. Well, good luck with your BTEC, Colleen. Good luck with that, my friend. I hope it goes swimmingly well for you, if you get the pun. I find that's a funny pun for me. It's a funny pun for me. So, yeah, good luck with that. And, yeah, Rashford, man of the match by a country mile. That goal, even if he had a silent game, and then he scored that goal, he deserves it. 110%. And do you know how I know Man United were good tonight, though? The lack of rivals that have turned up in the comment section. Me and KJ have been saying this, the better Man United get, the worse our Man United streams get. You're going to see me complain. We used to look lagging in these games. The mentality is slowly but surely changing. Yeah, look, there's no doubt about it. I think that there was some scrappiness from certain players, but overall, you can see what Ten Hag is trying to achieve. Scrappiness from some and lack of quality. McTominay tonight for me, yes, he hasn't played, but you just saw his lack of quality, and that will just be something that will be addressed via attrition in time. There's no doubt about that at all. Dan here says, not a lot of people know this, but when Company was City's captain, he was one who used to do the match analysis. Made for management, looks very good. Yeah, he does. He does, and I'm excited to see what Burnley can do under him. I love these young up and coming managers coming through. They're the managers of the future, so let's see what he does. Josh here, one of our legends and super fans. Hope you're well, Josh. Says AWB best performance in 18 months. And just at the right time, as the January window is going to open, as Wolves and West Ham want to come and swoop in for him, he puts in, as you say, probably his best performance in a Man United shirt in a long time. Grabs an assist as well. There we go. Oh, hang on a minute. What's this? Ola here says, hang on, Terry. You are always gassing that Man United are the biggest supported club in England. So now you are doing well as a team. Your figures should go up. So this is what happens. I understand algorithms very well. When a fan base becomes gassed and very excited, you'll see numbers go up. When you see a club doing badly, you'll see them go up because rivals come into rant or rivals come into attack. Like right now, Arsenal content across social media is very popular. It does very well comparatively to other clubs because Arsenal fans are in an amazing mood. You've kind of got Man United fans, Spurs, Liverpool, and Chelsea for different reasons are all what in this kind of mid ground. They're either not very angry or they're not very excited at the moment. And as soon as another one then clicks into gear, you see it happen. With Man United right now, the Man United fans are on the edge of getting excited. But rival fans don't want to. This is the weirdest time. They don't want to come and celebrate with you. But equally, they're not going to come in and slag you off because you just want another game. So it becomes, that's how it kind of works. And we went through this with Arsenal. A year ago, our Arsenal streams are like this. Arsenal start doing well. Suddenly, Arsenal fans turn up. It's just the way it goes, my friend. Nature of the beast. I completely disagree, Terry. You normally do, Abdul. Company got it so wrong today. Yes, it's all good and fine to play expansive football and sticking to your philosophy, but you need to adapt to your opponents as well. Yeah, maybe they could have done, but they're not trying. Burnley aren't trying to win the League Cup. They're not going to win it. Burnley are trying to create an identity under Vincent Company to get back into the Premier League. That's their main goal. So all I'm stating is they played well in parts. They never were going to have the quality to beat Man United, and they're not training to play pragmatic long ball football anymore. So it's very hard for them. I get your point, but I think they've got a very, very good future ahead of them. I really, really do. My Dizzy, Canadian Cam and KJ coming out with me in a few moments' time. Hope all my Man United fans are getting home safely to Kent and Surrey. I'm sure we will. I'm sure. Do you know, that's what I'm looking forward to the most? If Man United get back, I haven't been called a glory hunter for a decade, bro. I can't wait to be called a glory hunter again because that means we're back. I love the fact that rivals don't show up anymore because it means they're scared. They are legitimately scared. All we've got to wait for is Man United fans to get excited. And then it's off, and away. To infinity and beyond. Is Abdul eye test? No, but we are going to try and something I'm going to try and invent on the terrace though, as a concept show where we're going to get a couple of fans that are online who think they've got the best eye test. And what we're going to do is we're going to find a way of letting them watch a game with no sound, and we'll stop the graphics from coming up on the screen. And at the end of the game, we're going to test how good their eye test is by doing quizzes, by saying, for instance, who gave the ball away the most today, Ericsson or Bruno? Let's see if the eye test works. And if they foul more than the challenge is going to be, if they win and get like over 80% right, we're going to give them 10 grand. If they get under 80% right, they have to delete all their social media accounts forever. That's the challenge we're going to put out because we're going to start shutting down eye tests on the football terrace. We're going to end this nonsense. Eye tests aren't real. They're preferences. and they mean nothing. It's just preference. It's purely preference. Means nothing. A good competitive win. Match sharpness will come. We won the ball high up. Number of times is positive. Bruno suspended for the next game. Yeah, that's going to be poor if we get a big team. We might not. You know, we might be all right. I wouldn't even mind seeing Bruno get a little rest as well, to be honest with you. He plays a hell of a lot of football. Well, that of course it isn't going to happen because the eye test merchants know their eye test doesn't work. They're not going to actually put a challenge. They're not going to risk having to delete their accounts, so they won't do it. But it'll shut them up. I'm a clever man. I always win. What a thicko. Listen, William, I'll make you a challenge now. If you can come on and debunk me, I'll give you some cash. But no one ever does. No one ever takes on the king. No one can do it. It's impossible. But you still show up every week. Oh, Brighton have just gone out, have they? Oh, wow. I wasn't even looking at the other scores tonight, you know. Legitimately wasn't even looking. I saw they're getting score updates on the the Blackburn game. Oh, they went out on penalties. Jeez. I mean, again, like, I wouldn't mind Forest in the next round. We'll beat them no matter what. Wouldn't mind a bit of Charlton. That'd be a fine game. Just want to avoid, just want to really and truly. I was about to say you want to avoid Chelsea, but Chelsea went out as well, didn't they? Oh, yeah, I forgot they went out. I mean, listen, who's left in this? Leicester, Newcastle, Southampton, Wolves, Man United, Forest, Charlton, and it'll be either City or Liverpool. Like, legit, this is opening up. This is opening up. It's opening up. 5 minutes into the game, seeing Dúbravka jump for a save after the ball was out of play, I knew we had a clown. Listen, Dúbravka tonight. This guy, I don't want to see him in. I know he won. I don't want to see him in a Man United kit ever again. Legit. I don't want to see it. It gave me legitimate pain. It was painful to watch. You guys get to the final. The tears will be sweeter. I mean, it's far more embarrassing going out now to Burnley than losing in a final. I don't know about you. May feel the tears will be sweeter, but for me, I'd much rather that. You know, it's like saying, imagine like someone loses the Premier League title on the final day of the season and they miss out by a point. That isn't as painful as coming 8th. That's just my view, Don Boy. I don't know about you, brother. And that'd be right. Time to bring my little panel out tonight. Dizzy, KJ, and Canadian Cam. We're back talking, not quite EPL football, but we're back talking club football again. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen. How you all doing?
Oh, hey, fam. Oh, I miss Qatar. Take me back to Doha. I'm in my blanket. It's flipping freezing, and the heating prices is mad. You know what I mean? Take me back to where Real was like cheap.
Shut up.
Yo, listen.
It's like probably 5 degrees. Like, relax.
Hey, Cam, you're Canadian. You're used to these mad cold, bro. I don't like it. I don't like
Bite his head out. Relax.
Fam, I'm happy United's back. I'm not gonna lie. I have more ties here. This is my bread and butter. So yeah, I'm excited.
Oh, no, it feels. I'm not gonna lie. It feels strange. I'm used to like a 3-week break after international tournament before football comes back, and now we just got club football straight afterwards. So yeah, but it feels good to come on after a win. I'm happy.
Yeah, man, and it feels good to be able to be back because, like, for me, the World Cup, all the games. On after a game, I used to myself in the shop window to get fired. So I'm happy I can come back on shows now because it's not middle of the day.
Yeah,
I did it a few times. But
I mean, for me, the strangest thing was seeing. I don't know why I missed the starting lineup get announced. I was putting the kids to bed, but seeing Casemiro, Bruno, Rash, I didn't expect to see so many of the World Cup players in this game. But equally, I was saying at the beginning of the show, no one's got any idea of actually how to approach this because it's unprecedented. So no one knows whether playing less games is better, more games is better, maintaining the flow. So I'm just not going to judge it until we've actually seen the fruits of that labor, if that makes sense. If the players feel good, we've got sports science now that gives them data. But look, it was a good performance from Man United. I want to ask you, first of all, talk to me about Rashford's goal. Talk to me about Rashford's goal.
The run. Hey, what up, my guy Sam? The run, the balance, it was keeping the right hand side too. So I'm just sitting there the whole time, just like watching him cut through everybody and then make the right decision. It was like that's who we knew you to be before the back. I think one thing that people took for granted when somebody has a back injury and was as injured as he was, trying to play through that, it was so clear he was not himself. And we saw the World Cup. We saw through the start before he went to the World Cup. The kid is back. Like, he's all the way back. He's exactly what you've got PSG openly flirting with him now. This wasn't like in behind closed door. He's basically saying, yo, if he's free, he's coming to PSG. So I hope we make the right decision. I think I've always thought Rashford has a big career at United. I'm not going to be one of those people who says he's going to be the best player of this. But remember, at a time, and Terry, KJ, we talked about this on stream. There was a time where Rashford was the second best inside winger, like in the Prem. Like he was putting, like it was Son and then him. You're like, who's better? Like inside, I'm not talking about Salah because Salah is a different beast. He's not in the conversation.
Yeah, left hand side, inside forward. It was Rashford.
Inside forward, that was it. There's no reason he can't get back there. Anyway, sorry, I waxed lyrical because I'm so excited. Like,
no, mate, but I think on your point, you're right. And if you actually go back to before the back injury, he had 2 seasons running where if you look at the top 5 leagues in Europe, he was in the top 2 or 3 in terms of outputs and consistency in that time. And he was like 4 or 5 years younger than everybody else. You know, it was only Son and one other guy that outperformed him, and it was marginal. He had that bad period, and everyone said he was written off. But Dizzy, from your point of view, we saw him have a great World Cup. He's on 9 goals now for the season. He's being influential in games, and he seems to have got that speed and that happiness about his playback again.
And you know what it is? It's not just because I think at the start of the season you could see it coming. As far as he's starting to do the right things now. But I think it wasn't until like maybe 5-6 games in when he got that confidence in his ability to actually do those things where you're like, oh, now he's trying them on a more frequent basis. And it's like, okay, yeah, now he's back now. And you know what's great? The underrated thing about the Rashford's goal is Martial's run to pull the left back out of position, just to give Rashford that little extra inch of space to make enough space to shoot. That I like that run, and I'm optimistic about what we could do with Ten Hag with this front line now that Ronaldo's not here. But yeah, kudos to Rashford for sure.
Wonderful. The speed, the getting through, and it's just the confidence that he gives him. Like the World Cup gave him so much confidence. I think that free kick really, really helped him, especially as well. Because when we was watching the game, I was expecting Rosed. But for him to come back, start, and to play, it wasn't just the goal. The goal was fantastic. It was the crosses he put in were good today. The passes he made were good today. He was involved in a couple of counterattacks that, with better decision making from Garnacho, Bruno, and Martial, it leads to a goal. So his overall game today was great, and this is what we'll understand. People say, "Oh, it's just Burnley," but we need these games to, like, you know, get back into the flow of things. And so I'm happy with his performance. And then that cheeky nutmeg he did. I wanted him to nutmeg that guy and then bend it top bins. Rashi, I'm upset. I wanted to do that. He took it on way too far, but the way he mixed him, I was hoping for the open body top pin curler. It would have been a beautiful goal. But what a great performance for Rashi today against opponents that we should be beating anyway. And hopefully we just see the best of him from here on out and keep going and growing and getting better. Ten Hag is that guy, people. He's on your
Burnley point, though. I had people saying to me, Burnley's top of the league. They played a bunch of competitive games. They're playing better football. They play great at Old Trafford. People were saying this. There were people saying this, and I'm like, I wasn't scared. But there were still people out there who actually thought that Burnley could potentially give us a game. And for me, for the game that I saw there, we toyed with them for most of it. So it's like Erik Ten Hag is that guy now. It's like it is just Burnley now. It is just Burnley. That's the thing. I look at it, it's like I'm looking at a team like Burnley, and I'm like, you are just Burnley. And I look forward to being able to say that continuously through the season when we look at these smaller teams and we're like, it's just so
I think when I looked at the game, I mean, Burnley actually had more shots than us. A lot of them were pop shots from nowhere that didn't trouble us. As an example, the actual gilt-edged chances came to us. We were still a little scrappy in certain areas, but that was to be that's understandable after a 6-week gap. You know, the players are all at different stages of fitness, and that's why when we got through that game against Aston Villa, I sat on the stream and I was ridiculed for it by the viewers because I think there were some Chelsea fans and Arsenal fans saying, I'm actually glad that the return fixture is so soon after the World Cup. I'd rather not have it. And for me, having a competitive game today is going to pay dividends over that Christmas period because you get a chance to kind of blow the cobwebs out, as I've already said. Get the sort of the cold air beating through your lungs. Get a feel for football again before moving back. A lot of teams have got massive games on Boxing Day, and they haven't kicked a competitive ball since the middle of November. The likes of Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Newcastle last night, and others have had that opportunity to do it. I think Callum Wilson played last night. Now, he barely played at the World Cup. But the point is, he's actually going to have a competitive game now.
And
so
Trippier
that, for
as
me,
well.
that's what's going to be really interesting for me now. It really is.
The next 3 months or so, no, next 3 weeks, 3 months. The next 3 weeks or so is just gonna be just get through it. Grab as many points as you can and get through it. Because honestly, everybody's fitness levels is all over the place, and some players ain't back yet. Like Martinez is still in Argentina somewhere, so it's the case of until everybody's back.
Listen, Martinez is
drunk. He's still drunk.
Martinez is drunk. He's allowed to be. The other person that was drunk today was flipping Dúbravka. My man was drunk as hell. What the hell was going on with in his brain? I do not know. Let him get sober on the team bus and stay on the bench.
Can we all agree that De Gea would have saved that there's one key goal, there's one key save that needed to happen to Unai Simon, and he didn't save it, and I was like, yo, I'm so happy De Gea didn't go now.
Oh yeah, against Japan.
He's not going to be the scapegoat, and at the end of the day, he would have saved them for sure. They needed a shot stopper, not a midfielder. That's what they needed.
Yo, Cam, even today, De Gea ain't making the same mistakes as Dúbravka today, man.
You know what? Dúbravka's performance today was as confusing as his transfer to Man United. Really deep. Like, it made no sense when we signed him. And
the thing is, though, you look at a lot of sort of second and third choice goalkeepers at clubs. I mean, I swear for a number of years, Man City had Scott Carson.
Yeah, that's Scott Carson. And
that's the point.
He was 40.
Yeah, you look at Liverpool and all the players they had in their peak team, and then Adrian was the backup goalie. It didn't even make sense. It's like, why would you have such a? It's almost like going, oh yeah, you've got, I don't know, your main centre back is Van Dijk. If Van Dijk gets injured, you're bringing in Titus Bramble. You wouldn't do it with any other position, but clubs seem to do it with goalkeepers where the drop off is huge. And tonight, I mean, that kind of weird moment where he mispunched it, and the ball was over his head, and then he sort of volleyball passed it in the air, and it was going in. That would have been the worst own goal in the history of Man United Football Club. The worst own goal. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I really, really couldn't. But yeah, he's got to be moved on. I wanted to ask your thoughts on young Garnacho tonight because it wasn't a great night for him. Is that just him finding his feet? Of course, you'd see rivals talk, oh, there we go. He ain't that great. You guys,
it's just Garnacho was fine. He did good stuff. He got into the right positions, what we need him to. And for me, this is him about building fitness and building routine with the squad and the team. Like, he should have scored that 1-on-1, like 100%. But he will have many opportunities like that in the coming weeks and the coming months at Man United. And would I rather him miss today and then score the next time in a Premier League game? Yeah. So it's a lesson for him, and that's what we need. Young players can't perform at 100% and be 10 out of 10 every single week. It's impossible. So today he was probably like a 6, like a 5, like it was just there. But it's a lesson for him, and he'll build on that. And I've got all confidence that he'll be fine.
I think the thing about him is he was a goal threat, right? He got through. He was a goal threat. That's all we really can ask of him at this stage is like continue to get in those positions. He's not going to miss that 1-on-1 very often, right? He's going to remember that. He's going to know what to do better next time. He has to keep getting into those positions. Even that run where he took it a bit too far, he's going to know next time, okay, I don't need to take as heavy as a touch. Though, just get in those positions and show us that when you are on form, when you are, in shape and the rust isn't there, that you're going to be in those positions and give Bruno the opportunity to get you to thread it through. Because Bruno he looked class. He looked like he's been playing football, right? The one thing about Garnacho is we know Garnacho is going to be our super sub. He started today because Antony was taking a break and coming in off of it, but we know he's not going to be a starter. So I think another thing about Garnacho, getting into those positions when players are tired, when we need to change things up, it's going to make it easier for him. So I'm not, he wasn't great today, but I'm never going to judge a kid who's 18 years old and probably our next star boy for missing the one-on-one in a game that, we shouldn't be relying on him anyway. If we're relying on him to win us these games, we have a bigger problem, right?
Yep.
That's a bigger problem.
And Cam, that's a great point there, because we did this we've done it with so many players in the post-Fergie era, where we've been so desperate for a hero that you get a youngster that comes in, and Rashford did this, Adnan Januzaj did this, Martial did it in his first game. We just keep it to academy players. James Wilson did it, where they come in their first game or two and they move the needle, and then it's right. Now we expect that every game, and we leave no room for the peaks and troughs. And the maddest part about it is that we've actually been less patient with the players that have come in and delivered on multiple occasions than we are. I saw people have more patience with Chong than they did with Rashford. And Chong didn't put in one good moment.
No one had patience with Chong, Terry.
He's not wrong. I agree. You're right.
KJ, you're done out here. You're done. This guy, I would tweet about it in games. We got to say he ain't good enough. And you would just
in that Chong got time.
You would be bombarded.
Listen, maybe because I clocked early because I didn't think it was that great. Maybe that's what it is. But I did not see people defend Chong.
You weren't on the terrace back then. And I'm telling you, whenever I said I don't think he's it, and all I said is that I'm not seeing a single moment in any game where you go, oh, there's a player there. And for me, that's what you always have to see. There has to be a moment instantly when you know. And
Angel Gomez was another one.
Angel Gomez, yeah. KJ, you've been. We've almost taken you out of that indoctrination, but you still have that element in you where you ride out for an Angel Gomez for no reason. He's bang.
I ride out for young
Ethan
players.
Ethan Laird's another one.
The thing is, I'm different than most people. I will ride out for young players full stop. Like, I just do.
See, I don't. I ride out for the young players that are good enough. The ones that aren't, they've got to go.
Yeah, but I believe in young people full stop no matter what. So that's a different kind of fish.
You can't do that. I'm not.
No. But tell you're mistaken. If they're not good, no. You always talk. Yeah, let me say. If they're not good, if they give me a reason not believing them, I will be like, okay, they gotta move on. But I'm not. I don't sit here and be like, one game, not good enough. You know what I mean? Like, I do give all of them a chance.
So you do agree with me then? Once they've shown you they're not good enough, they've got to go.
Yeah. I don't.
My point is, they showed us for 10 games and people were still riding out for him. Legit. Yeah. Like you with Alanga, you keep pulling on that one all the time.
That one's different, and you know it. That one's different.
I didn't want to go there. That's a low blow.
No, it's not a low blow. Just because you both like God. That's all this is.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying,
bro. I will back him. I will back him until the day he leaves, and even when he leaves, I will back him. I don't care.
Got mob ties. Oh my god.
Oh, that's good.
But no, listen. Like again, some Man United fans are weird like this. Like they, as I say, I don't want Garnacho to end up getting the same treatment that Januzaj got and Rashford has had and everything else. Like, we've got to give this kid time, and he didn't have a good day tonight, but I'm sure he'll come up trumped in another game very soon. Very soon indeed.
Terry, that's on the manager. Eric Ten Hag's got to protect him. He's got to keep bringing him off the bench. He can't put him. I get why he started today, but he can't be playing more than 20, 30 minutes a game. I don't care what fans are saying.
Facts. I was going to say, I hope that they manage his implementation into the first team, right? Because we've seen them do it, just toss him in and it doesn't work. He who shall not be named was actually implemented into the first team very, very well, as far as like, okay, you're getting 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Now you're a starter. And then you're getting taken out when you have a drop of confidence. I hope they go that route as opposed to just drop him in the team at all times in sink or swim type. Yeah.
No, I get that. Someone here says Alanga is okay, Terry. We can sell him and play him. Listen, Alanga is okay. He absolutely is okay, but I don't think he's ever going to be good enough to be a starter for the level that we want to be at. And I think that's something that Man United fans have got to, you know. I even said about Rashford in the summer. Like, someone said to me once, what if Anthony and Sancho are better than him? Then he don't start. I don't care. Like, I care about Man United winning, and that's the most important thing. And when it comes to kids, this is a great example. Federico Kiko Makeda. He was a 2-game wonder. And I remember, this is, again, my younger head was different. I think I was about 21, 22 when he broke through. And I remember on the 3rd, 4th, 5th game he played, I was like, this guy ain't that good. I could see it, but I didn't want to say it out loud because you're not being a fan, right? And it's only when I've got older I've realized that not calling things as they are is the opposite to being a fan. You actually create a situation. Help create mediocrity of football goal. You have to call these things out early, and when you know when a player isn't good enough, it's like with Scott McTominay. It's the people always get twisted with me because they're like, "Oh, you said it'd be funny if the manager picks him." I'm like, "Yeah, only because it winds up eye test merchants." But on a reality, when you watch McTominay play, too often the ball bounces off his foot. Too often those
even today he gave beautiful 3-ball to the opposition today. Beautiful.
So the thing is, though, it's on Scott. Today he definitely missed, and he also missed a sitter. But on Scott, he's good enough to be a squad player, and we know he's happy in that role. This is the thing about Scott that I've always said. Scott is completely fine if you use him in small margins in the right role. You don't he doesn't need to be your midfield controller. You know what he is. You bring him in, he scores that screamer against Man City. Scott is very much just I don't want players who are just happy to be here. I want players who are happy to be here that can be productive. And I think Scott, you do need some squad players that are just aren't going to be like, I want out. I want to go to Newcastle because I'll play more. It's like, no, just be happy being, a good bit piece at United.
Which is and Anthony Elanga could do that too, bro. You know what I mean?
Elanga could be a squad player, the same as no, he could be a squad player. Do you know what Elanga would be great? No, do you know what would be great for Man United, especially with the size of benches, the amount of subs now? If you're 2-0 up and a team starts putting a lot of men forward to try and equalize, bring Elanga on this pace, running behind against tired legs. Great. That's what Dan James was meant to be for. He was never meant to be this starter. Equally, Jesse Lingard went through this. Jesse Lingard was never of the level to be a regular starter on a wing or in a 10 role for Man United. He should have been, of course, he should have been Jasper Blomqvist. He should have been Nicky Butt. He should have been John O'Shea, different positions, I know. But with United fans have forgotten that we've got players like that. City have got players like that. Fabian Delph, did a job. You need players at that level at football clubs. Not everybody can't be Rashford, Bruno, Casemiro. They all can't be of that level. You've got to spread it out a little bit. But yeah, Blomqvist was a good player. But yeah, but equally, playing 4 or 5 games on the bounce, and you suddenly start to see his levels just dissipate somewhat. But yeah, Jonathan Greening. Yeah, Jonathan Greening is a great example there. Nicky Butt was quality. Stop it. Nicky Butt was quality, but Nicky Butt wasn't of the level of Roy Keane or Paul Scholes or Michael Carrick, in my opinion. He was, and you know how you know this, in my opinion? When he left Man United, he was good at Newcastle, but he didn't go to Newcastle and suddenly stand out as one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. That's how you know. Phil Neville, when he left, he was very good at Everton, but he wasn't suddenly one of the best defenders in the league. That's how you know. Where if Rio Ferdinand or Jaap Stam or Roy Keane or Paul Scholes left Man United in their pomp, Beckham or Giggs in their pomp, and went to another club, they'd still be one of the best players in the league at any other club. Those guys weren't. They were squad players, in my opinion. But there we go. No hate, but Rashford that much better than Lingard.
Is Rashford that much better than Lingard?
Yeah, he is. Yes. No, he is so much better than Lingard. It's
not even outrageous question.
Lingard couldn't even get 100 goals if he stayed until he's 35. Rashford did it at 25, bro.
That's a crazy question. Who is that guy? Who said that?
That's outrageous. I like Lingard too. I'm a big fan, but that's crazy. You can't compare those two.
Nah, just leave Jesse alone, man. He's gone.
Yeah,
wait, hold on.
No. I'm saying it to the comments. Don't leave him. Let him do his thing up first. Don't bring him in conversations. You don't need to be in.
Didn't Rashford just hit 100 Man United goals?
Yeah, just to break this down about Rashford. Marcus Rashford is in the top 13 goal scorers in the history of the football club. So he's just overtaken David Beckham. He has more goals than Eric Cantona, more goals than McClare, more goals than Dwight York, more goals than Chicharito, Van Persie, Dimitar Berbatov, as an example, right? But then just in front of him, right? So he has David Hurd, who had 112, or he played in the 30s, okay, in front of him by 10 goals. Then, do you know how many goals he is behind? This is the maddest thing, bro. Legitimate. And he, by the way, not a number 9. Rashford has predominantly been a winger, right? He's only, I'm just counting this right here, he's 19 goals behind Andy Cole.
That's
okay.
Wild.
19 goals behind Andy Cole. He's 25 goals behind Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's only 28 goals behind Mark Hughes. These are all number 9s. They weren't wingers. This guy's a winger. He's not a number 9, okay? He's only, if he scores another 30, he's 35 goals, by the way. He won't, goal per game ratio won't be as good, behind George Best. This guy, listen, Rashford is going to score at Man United, in my opinion, easily another 80 to 90 goals in his career. He will, in my opinion, overtake everybody, barring probably Dennis Law's on 184 and Rashford's on, sorry, and Rooney is on 253 goals for the club. But I honestly believe that he can overtake all of them, maybe not Dennis Law. Like the third highest goal scorer in our club's history. The third one, let me finish. Sorry. The third highest goal scorer in our club's history is Ryan Giggs on 164 goals. Rashford will pass that. Rashford's going to pass it. When you say, is he better than Lingard? Yes.
Crazy.
Sorry, KJ.
No, I'm going to say he could beat that. I actually believe he could beat Dennis Law. What's Dennis Law on that? 184?
184. He could do that.
Yeah, and Rashford's on what, 103 now or something like that?
And he's what, 25?
102?
25.
Listen, Rooney was one of the first to say it a long time ago. And obviously this is when he was banging in 20 and he didn't have the injury or whatever. He was like, if Rashford puts his head down, he's like, he can pass me. He's like, it's not unfeasible. Now, I don't think he will.
No,
but
he won't pass Rooney.
Without a doubt that if Rashford stays at United, basically, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to sign him up. We're going to pay him a lot of money. Everyone's going to be upset about it. I don't care. I think it would be an absolute mistake, and I've said it a million times. I do not care what everybody – I've always said this, even when he was playing poorly. I'm like, letting Rashford leave the club will be the biggest mistake we could ever make. I listen to guys like Mark Ogden and those guys be like, oh, well, is Rashford even a guaranteed starter at United? You know what? When Rashford was coming off the bench scoring goals, the same energy I have for Scott. At no point did we hear Rashford say, I'm unhappy with my role. Rashford is very much amendable and always been, even when Sancho came in. Everybody, you never saw Rashford saying, his brother did, and people coming out flirting with PSG because they're like, well, give him more money or give him a contract. Cool. I'm okay with it. Sign him. Keep him. And then if he turns out to not be good enough, you can sell him. But in my opinion, the way he's been going and what he means for the club and coming up through the academy and just he's a good person too, right? We need some of those people at United. Like at the end of the day, you straight up, dog. After some of our legends, we need somebody like Rashford to stay at the club.
Terry, can we do some quick math? So Rashford's 25 now. He needs 83 goals to surpass Dennis Law. How many? Say like if he stays for another 7 years, taking him to like 32.
Bro, let's just go over 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
There's 16 to 17 goals a season for the next 5 years.
Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing it.
It's possible.
I'm telling you, he's doing it.
What I want to add on this as well, when it comes to Marcus Rashford, is when you actually look back at the list of goal scorers that are in that top level: Rooney, Law, Giggs, Scholes, Van Nistelrooy, Bobby Charlton, Ronaldo, Best, Hughes, Solskjaer, Andy Cole. I'm not going to speak about David Herr because I'm not too sure about the 30s and what was going on there. My not like we're a good team, but anyway, all those other players were playing in brilliant Man United teams. Mark Hughes was at the club in the early Fergie era where it wasn't so great, but everybody else was playing in peak Fergie teams or peak Sir Matt Busby teams. Rashford has become this high goal scorer in one of the worst periods ever. You don't see any players. McClare, you could argue maybe he's there. You don't see any players in our top 25 who were playing in that era of the late 70s and 80s before Fergie era. No one did it. So in our last dire era, nobody is in anywhere near our top 25. And there's some real legends in there that people like Lou Macari that everybody raves about and loves. Rashford's there or thereabouts. If we could get some sustainability at the club, a manager for a long-term period, the club being run well, the right recruitment, Rashford, I don't think he'll break Rooney's because Rooney is just so far. It's 140 odd goals. It's a lot to do, but he'll easily get into the top 5 goal scorers in our football club's history. And there was a comment I wanted to highlight because it's right and wrong at the same time. Law, Best are legends who won things. Rashford has a European trophy, an FA Cup, and a League Cup. However, to even chat, and this is where my consistency is king, to even talk to those players, it isn't just about scoring more than them. He's got to win Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. Because when you go through every other player, barring Ruud van Nistelrooy on that list, Mark Hughes as well, because he didn't win a Champions League. Everybody else on that list, Cole, Solskjaer, Hughes won the Cup Winners' Cup and multiple leagues, but not the Champions League. But Best, Ronaldo, Charlton, Scholes, Giggs, Law, Rooney, they won multiple league titles and they won the Champions League. So Rashford could break all their goal scoring records, but how I talk about Harry Kane, the same I talk about Rashford. He has to win those Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues to chat to those guys. But if we create sustainability and he keeps scoring, United could win those things. And
so one thing though on Champions League changed a lot, right? Like I know there was less teams that got in, which made it harder. But once you were in, there was less teams to beat, which made it easier to win in a sense, in my opinion, back in those days. So I'm not taking away Champions Leagues from anybody, but I do think if Rashford just won one Champions League in this day and age and won some leagues, I'd put him. I don't think he needs to win multiple, because I think winning multiple Champions Leagues now with the amount, with it not just being the best team, now you have the best 4 teams, right? And that adds to the level of competition. It makes it a bit harder to win the Champions League than it did back in the day, where it was like, yeah, it was all the best teams, but it was just the top of the league, right? It wasn't you weren't dealing with like the potential top 3. So I do think that's changed the way the Champions Leagues became a harder competition to win. So I think it's tough to put him against. I think it's only like Rooney and Ronaldo that had to deal with the new format. But Giggs and them, they were in the old format, right? So I do think it's unfair to say he's got to win multiple Champions Leagues. That's just my opinion.
Well, maybe not multiple, but he's got to win. He's got to win. I mean, you could argue it's easier now. You can argue it's easier now because in the early Fergie era, and even for the majority of Giggs in that career, it wasn't the top 4 teams that got to go. You can be in the Champions League after finishing 30 points off the top of the title. Back in the day, like Law, Best, and these guys, you had to win the league to get into it. And that's why you won it. So go on.
That's why I think it's easier in a sense, because you have to win to get in, win the league. And back then, like, let's be honest, United were far and beyond the best team. Like, they were always going to, like, it was basically like guaranteed to win the league. I'm saying it's the other teams that you had to play when you got there. So they all had to win their league, but you didn't have to worry about like.
So I think that's why it equals it out though. So it's easier to qualify for now, but then there's also more teams in it that can beat you, which I think kind of levels the playing field somewhat. But my point still remains. Like I look at Rashford, and there's a legend in the making, but you can't be a legend unless you've got to have them medals. Like I said it before. Like I don't care in practice and in qualifying, you can beat Usain Bolt's record all you want. Until you win those Olympic gold medals, no one can chat to him. The only time I don't even care if someone beats Usain Bolt's record. Until you match what he did at Olympics, you don't chat to Usain Bolt. And that's just the medals are more important than the records in some respects. Like the medal records for me are paramount in sport, because that's all that's all any athlete ever talks about.
Because at the highest level of competition, which is the finals and the semi-finals, that is where you have to perform at the highest stage, at the brightest lights. So it takes a different mentality to actually achieve that. So when you can get that done, it's a different ball game. You get put in different conversations. That's why now the Messi Ronaldo conversation ain't even happening, because he won the World Cup. That's why we can't respect Harry Kane over here, because when the lights is the brightest, he won't do it. He just won't do it.
Mate, this is what people don't understand. People think I have a Harry Kane agenda, but I have the same agenda. It's not a Harry Kane agenda. It's a Legends agenda, and I stand by it. And my reason for I said it the other day to someone, my favorite player is still Ronaldo, but I don't judge GOATs on favoritism. That's why the eye test is a flawed mentality, because you're judging it based on what you like and not based on achievements. And if you start doing it on achievements, the list looks very different. Like I said before, you guys all might think Usher's the greatest R&B, like sort of R&B singer come dancer ever. But for me, like, I just put out Michael Jackson's record sales, number of albums sold, and I don't care about your opinion anymore. Like, my guy was better. Do you know what I mean? Fair enough, Usher's doing it in the piracy era, but that's another conversation for another day. Like, we were all burning those albums off LimeWire back in the day. Like, we were all doing that. So
you're aging yourself, G. You're aging yourself.
Fam, LimeWire and FrostWire, those two things.
Nah, it was crazy.
They would give you a virus real quick, but you could get everything for free, bro.
Wizard here says Terry Rashford's only issue is on his off day, his shot selection, or if he improves that, he will go in. But he has shown to score goals against big clubs in big games. That's true. He's got clutch moments. But again, I would say this about Rashford. When Rashford has a bad day, because United have been in a bad era and a bad space, it stood out. If you went back now and watched United in the 90s under Fergie, the noughties under Fergie, you would see loads of players have bad games. But if Rooney was having a stinker, Giggs or Tevez or Ronaldo would turn up and deliver, and you wouldn't remember it. This is what happens at City and Liverpool. There's multiple games where one of their stars don't turn up, but somebody else delivers. When you literally are relying on one guy, 21, 22, 23 years of age, and that's what I mean about Garnacho. We go back to the original point. I don't want Garnacho to be the focus. We should not be relying. Garnacho shouldn't be expected to be the match winner in any game. If he misses a sitter, you go, oh, that's poor. But he shouldn't be who we're putting our hopes on. We should be looking at Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford, Martial. Those are the Varane and Lissandro. Those are the guys that should be winning us football matches. The youngsters should be allowed to go out there, play freely, and express themselves. That for me, you look at Argentina on Sunday. There was no Argentinian that we spoke to, KJ, that was like, tell you now, Julian Alvarez better turn up. He better win it for us. No, they were talking about their older players. They're the leaders. They go Otamendi, Messi, of course. They go and deliver. Let the youngsters express themselves. And I think football fans have got to get back into that way of thinking, really, in my humble opinion. Let's have a look at this other comment here. This is about AWB. Eric Ten Hag made AWB's price tag go up by 10 million.
That assist.
Oh,
you know he did
that assist was so Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I couldn't believe it. I was like, any way he's gonna do it. That is how.
It was a clearance. It was a clearance. It was a
slide tackle.
It was a clearance.
But you know, also sorry, I was really happy Eriksen scored today. I think that was nice to see. He had a poor World Cup because Denmark didn't look great, and it was nice to see him on the ball, buzzing a bit. That for me was like, I'm like, good, because we need Eriksen in form. Like our midfield's not good enough to have any of our midfielders not be in form. So we really need Eriksen, we need Bruno, we need Casemiro, we need all of them in form to make it to top 4 this year. So seeing him score today, I was like, oh, okay, good.
No, me too. But listen, I said it in the video during the World Cup, and I believe Man United can make the top 4 if we sign somebody that's going to score goals in January. And look, we've all got a different opinion on who that is. I'm sure we'll cover it over the next few weeks. But if Gakpo comes in, it looks like it could be him, and he scores for us like he's doing right now in the Eredivisie, United are making the top 4 because we're playing better football than I think United are week in, week out playing better football than everybody in the race for the top 4, other than Arsenal and City. Everybody else, like we're playing better football than Chelsea right now. We're playing better football than Tottenham right now, and we've been playing better football than Liverpool right now.
And the thing is, the World Cup's been a great leveler because all momentum in that and previous performances, they've gone out the window now. We don't know where anybody is at this point.
It's true. And we've got Forest on the 27th, so the day after Boxing Day. So we've got an extra day's rest or preparation time. I mean, is anybody legitimately worried about Forest coming to Old Trafford?
We're gonna put 4 past them. Like I'm actually like
that's got no Henderson either.
It's going. We're like I'm in the phase of I don't look at a Forest game and go, oh, like maybe they might get some. No, that's a routine game. The games I'm looking forward to, like honestly, I want my Newcastle revenge. I want my Brighton revenge. I want my Brentford revenge. I want the revenge on those teams that we should have handled that we didn't. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Newcastle because everybody's like they play great football, this and that. That the new darlings. Fuck Newcastle. I'm gonna say it right now. Like straight up, I picked them as my team that I don't like this year because everybody's propped them, put them ahead of us already. They're not there yet. They may get there, but they're not there yet. And I'm really looking forward to us proving that this year. I get it. It's an agenda, but that's where I'm at when it comes to Newcastle. So everyone's ordained them as better than I've had so many people when I mention United, they're like, and I'm talking about Newcastle, like, you mean Newcastle? And I'm like, like, stop it. So
I already know one of the people you're talking about.
I'm coming for everybody when we finish above them.
Honestly. Also, I don't like this new Burnley. I liked it when they used to play crap football and their manager was Sean Dyche because I hate on them. Now, I feel like I'm doing black on black crime if I hate on Burnley right now. I'm not going to lie. Company, You're doing too good for my liking. Stop being good.
He's trying, and they're going to be back in the Premier next season. So
Yeah,
they're
100% gonna be back.
Manager, I'm cool with them being around. That's fine.
No,
but I was
no,
with
no.
you.
See,
I was with you. I was with you.
I hate. You know what it is? It's the club itself. It's just disgusting. Like I just don't look at the badge in the bottom right. Look at it. What is that? What is that? The kit is horrible, but now they've got company and he's doing a good job. And now I feel hard. Now it's hard for me. I'm in a rock and a hard place now because I like company and he's a brother. So I don't know, man.
I hope there's no Burnley fans watching.
I hope they're watching. Your club is ass. There you go. I said it.
I wanted them relegated for years, so I got what I wanted. They play better football. It's fun. I did say to people they're going to come to.
Go on, carry on.
No, all I said to people were they were going to come to United and try and play with us, and it was not going to work. Like the reason Burnley used to show up at United's at Old Trafford and give us a hard time was because they played that awful brand of football where 11 men would sit back and they drove us insane, and it was Sean Dyche's fieriness. I'm like, that's God. I was like, cool. Go ahead, come and try and play football with us.
Do you know what God's going to do to you though, KJ, for the way you are with Burnley?
Damn.
He's going to send Elanga there. What he's gonna do?
If
Elanga's gonna go there, Ethan Laird's gonna go there, and then KJ's gonna be hating. It's gonna be brilliant. It's gonna be so fun.
No. If Elanga, I'll tell you now, if Elanga or Ethan Laird go to Burnley, I'm buying a Burnley shirt with their name on it.
You see that there? To show you how easy it is to buy KJ. Do you know what I mean? Literally, it's just easy.
Through Burnley, but those are my guys, man.
You know what I say about Burnley though? If there was actual Burnley fans in front of you, I'm saying this. Maybe you would say it in front of them, but please don't say it in front of them while I'm there. I want to be about 50 miles away because they are.
Wait, fam, here's the thing: football fans can chat anything they want on Man United, bro. You know what I mean? They can say to my face, "Your club is this, that, and the third." But when I say it to them, there's an issue. All right, cool, innit? Nah. If you think my club is ass, I can think your club is ass.
That's my beef with Newcastle. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Guys, I'm being serious. Like the amount I've watched and I've paid. It's not just one person. I've seen it where people are just. Even one of my good friends the other day, who was like, we're talking about the top 4 race and how where Newcastle is. And he goes, Cam, you can't say to me by any measure that United's been better than Newcastle. They're playing better than you. They drew with you this, and he's listening to it all, and I was just burning inside listening to him because I'm like, yeah, part of it's right, part of it you're not wrong. But at the end of the day, like there's still a half of a season to go. And we're talking about us like we're a fallen giant and not even in the race. And that this Newcastle team is now the next top 4 team. It's ridiculous to me. I get it. Shiny new toy, whatever. They're not going to be there at the end of the season. Yeah. This could backfire heavily for me, but I'll die on this hill.
Hey, we're back to club football, man. This is what it is. We've been you know what it is? In the World Cup, everyone's been so nice to each other because it's the World Cup. You know what I mean? Everyone's in vibes. Everyone's having a good time. We're back to the war. We're back to the trenches. Let's flipping go.
I hear that. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back tomorrow with more content. And, of course, in the evening covering Man City versus Liverpool. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.